Let's bring in Abby Barmore now as we take your questions in the mailbag. Abby, what's the starting off question?
First one. Okay. If you could pick a guaranteed win out of Colorado, USC, or Wisconsin, which one would you pick and why?
I'd like to say Colorado.
Yeah.
Just because of the importance of starting off well. I've seen it here now play out for the last several years in a row. When you lose early in Lincoln, it's hard because the people to start freaking out and panicking. And if Colorado comes in here and beats Nebraska, people are going to freak out and panic. And then, and don't kid yourself, that gets to the players.
Yeah, it does.
It gets to the coaches.
It does.
So you kind of need to be a front runner early in the year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Colorado. It's just because for those reasons, but also just the history of what that series has been, the way Nebraska has lost to Colorado, and just kind of the embarrassment that has followed with that. I mean, this rivalry is heated back up just with how frequently they've played over the last few years, but then also just the way it can set the tone for the entire season. They could be darn near bowl eligible by the midway point of the season if they win that game.
Okay, Rob, what if the question is more about which one do you think Nebraska has the best chance to win?
So it was Wisconsin, Colorado, and what?
I'd still say
USC.
Colorado.
USC.
Yeah, I'd say Colorado.
I would too. I think, and that's the way I interpreted the question. I think it is Colorado, even though Colorado fans watching would say, "Oh, I guess you forgot that last year it was 36-14."
Yeah, but last year Nebraska was about ready to take over that game until Jeff Sims decided to hand the ball to everybody.
Hello.
The Wisconsin game would be number 2, though, just because that could have pretty big implications.
Like that stadium, I don't think Colorado even understands what they're walking into.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to walk into a freaking
Hornets nest.
I mean, Memorial.
We got to come up with another term because we're going to say Hornets Nest way too much. What do we say? We don't have to think about. We don't have to say it right.
We got to come up with a better. You can't say Hornets Nest
every time. We're going to say Hornets Nest 100 times before the game. We got to come up with something else. I wonder what that is.
Thunderdome.
You're going to walk into a Thunderdome.
That's perfect.
What I envision is just like a bunch of cocky Colorado guys like rolling into like a small town Nebraska
with their
bar
Dion shades
and
on,
just getting their butts kicked by a bunch of like Nebraska cowboy type dudes.
Yeah, when I was covering women's basketball, I was standing by Nebraska women's basketball, standing by an old boy that was watching a practice. I mean, he was for some reason he was there watching a practice, and the conversation came to an opponent, like how badly he wanted to beat him, and I said, well, this team beat Nebraska last year. He goes, yeah, but wait till they get to our lair.
Nice.
Lair.
Snake pit.
Snake pit. That's one.
I should
come
write
up
these
with one.
down.
You know, Nate Rohr is just, I mean, on the PA announcer, that third down. Nate Rohr is practicing that in his car ride every morning right now.
Yeah.
He probably does it in
Do
his
breathing
sleep.
exercises to really hold it.
All right.
The full 40 seconds of the play clock.
Next question.
Leave it to us to get distracted.
Yeah,
Okay.
God.
I think this is a record number of distractions
Yeah,
today. There's
we're
been
up
a
there.
lot of long stories. Okay, next one. What are Nebraska's chances of landing 4-star linebacker Dawson Merritt? A lot of questions about this one.
Well, he's taking his official visit to Alabama this weekend. He's, I think he's visited both schools. This will be the third visit there. He's been in Nebraska 3 times. I mean, I know Alabama people still feel like they have a pretty good chance with him, but Nebraska really wowed him. He visited twice over a period, but it's hard to really say much until we get out of this weekend when he makes that trip to Tuscaloosa.
Right. He's talked a lot about it. He knows what people are thinking, that Alabama's got the track record, Nebraska doesn't, but he trusts Nebraska that they can make a move, and he'd kind of like to be part of the big move, so it's just fascinating. I mean, right when that came out that it was Alabama, Nebraska, I thought that's one of the best stories going right now. He's down to Alabama.
Kansas City
Nebraska.
guy, though. Nebraska's got a location.
They got a location element, but just the juxtaposition and where those programs are at is really interesting.
Yeah, if you want to keep your eyes on some high-ranked guys, though, I mean, Doug Utu, the lineman from Bishop Gorman, he visited this week. Polynesian lineman. Obviously, you got the connection with Raiola there as well. And then his teammate, SJ, who's also a highly ranked offensive lineman, SJ Alafa-Tuli, will be here as well on June 21st. And I think those are 2 guys because of the angle of the Raiolas. You got Dylan, you got Donovan and Dominic. The Polynesian pole there
Yep.
And then the opportunity on this line,
Mhm.
because Ben Scott's going to be, there's going to be a lot of guys moving on. So both SJ,
Oh yeah, those are big.
Afalatui, and Doug Utu, I think Nebraska's in that. And their high school teammate, Xander Ruggiolari, is on the Husker roster right now. So those are two to watch. I know Doug Utu just wrapped up his visit this week, and I was told it went really well. So we'll see kind of where that all goes.
The big men are the most important. The big men are the most important. And that's, you know what? I'm not breaking any ground there. That's what's going on in Power 4 right now. They're emphasizing, prioritizing bigs because you can go in the portal and get your skill.
Mhm.
So now the benefactors of that are the FCS and the group of 5. They're getting good skill
Mhm.
because the power teams are emphasizing the bigs. It's an interesting kind of phenomenon that's going on.
All right, next question.
Nebraska's recruiting operation has improved over these last couple years, but how many games do they need to win this season to take that up another level?
I mean, they got to be in that 7 and 9 area, I think. I mean, to really feel like it's heading in the right direction.
I was going to say 9, just 9.
But if
I'm
they
saying
got
9.
to, if they somehow got to 8+, they have a lot to sell there. And if Raiola looks good, I mean, I think the key. Look, we think Raiola is going to be the starter. I know he's not been named the starter, but if Raiola comes out and looks like a 5-star that's going to play in the pros, guess what pro quarterbacks do? They attract pro recruits,
Mhm.
pro transfers.
Yeah, I mean, I think 7 wins is good. 8 wins that raises your eyebrows a little bit. If you're a recruit, that's a significant jump, and there's a lot of momentum, and things are working. And clearly, if they get to 8 wins, that means that Raiola is everything that they'd hope. So, yeah, I'd say probably 8 is your magic number.
I think 9. I think really to get people's attention that haven't been paying that close attention. I think you got to get to the
If
9.
they get to 9, they're like looking at top 15.
If you're
top
at
10
9, you're
class.
knocking on a playoff.
Yeah,
door.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you got to get people's attention that don't pay attention to Nebraska.
Well,
That's
the
not easy to
game that
do.
can get attention early is Colorado.
Mhm.
Oh God, yeah. It is. That's a big, yeah. There's ramifications.
Like the
to that game.
UTEP game in Northern Iowa, if they win those games, that's not going to get a lot of attention. But if you beat Colorado on NBC, you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
That Friday night game will be big, though. A lot of eyes will be on that game.
Yep. Illinois.
The Purdue game's at 11 a.m., so that will be kind of under the radar.
Lost.
But yeah, you don't have a lot of opportunities to get attention. That Colorado one is going to be the one. All right,
Oh, yeah.
Abby, I think we have time. Let's see. All right, last question.
Last one. So the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships are this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So what track and field event do you think you would be best at?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys run track in high school?
Mm-mm.
No.
I did.
Well, here we go.
Sorry, guys.
Humble
No,
brag.
Sorry to set him up.
I just didn't know if you guys were
No, you're
track.
fine. You're fine.
I ran the.
He was a
400.
multi-sport
I ran the
athlete.
400.
Okay.
I peaked at like high 53s, low 54s. I was a serviceable 400 runner. Was not good enough to make state. But
What would you run now?
oh God,
I think that's what we're asking.
Yeah, so what you did in high school.
Right
It's like if
now.
you were to suit up right now.
I think right now, if I was doing an event, it would probably be like a shot put now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I.
No, yeah, I'd be a thrower.
What, Jav?
I can't run.
The
I can't run or
javelin?
jump. No, I'd probably do like hammer throw.
Just to
Is
run.
that still a college event or is that
I
just
don't
Olympic?
Yeah,
know.
it is.
Hammer throw. That's
Okay.
my answer.
to run a 400 even under a minute as an adult
Oh,
would be a hard.
I'd die.
It would take an act of God for me to do that. I mean, race walking right now. That would probably. Do they have that?
I'm trying to think a 400
Heel to toe.
under a
Heel to
minute
toe. Heel to toe.
is a I think it's a 12.0 speed on a treadmill for a full minute.
God, good luck.
We're good.
Yeah. I'd have to
I
have
pull something.
I'd have to have multiple dogs chasing me for that to happen.
Yeah. We did see 2 pit bulls running down the street in Houston that got our attention
Yeah.
this week.
No big deal.
You might have ran a sub 60 in that situation. We're just driving like, hey, Seb, there's 2 pit bulls just
Yeah.
running down the street.
There's like squirrels down there, you know?
Apparently.
Abby,
Thank you,
what's your
Abby.
event, Abby?
Definitely not running. I don't think. Probably like javelin or
Jav.
something. I think I
Be
can
fun.
figure it out.
Whatever I
that'll be
wouldn't get
fun.
hurt in would be my
That'd be fun.
event.
Which I don't know. That narrows it down quite a bit.
Javelin's safe. Unless you're on the receiving
I
end.
was gonna say, yeah, just, you're safe. Others,
Yeah.
not so much.
They don't even allow it in Nebraska high school athletics.
Yeah, 'cause it's
No.
probably dangerous.
I mean,
Does anybody call it the jab? I've said that twice. I don't know if they do or not.
what could possibly go wrong with 15-year-old kids throwing spears?
Just hurling spears through the air.
What could possibly-
Yeah.
That's an insurance
That's a good
nightmare.
point. It is.
Like, I can't imagine the safety precautions, if you had high school javelin.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine this. I'd be a nervous wreck if I was the coach. Like, just be careful, guys. You
Yeah.
know?
Just knowing how aware teenagers are,
Yeah.
like in general, let alone with projectiles flying through the air that would gourd them.
Here's our javelin practice field. It's like some cornfield about 10 miles out of Lincoln where nothing's around.
Right.
That's how you'd have to do it.
I mean, that's pretty much what it would be. But yeah, I don't think I could do a 400 anymore.
So you're throwing a shot, you're throwing the
Hammer
hammer, and yeah, I would say just a long distance race is how I would do it. Just because I can't beat anybody with speed anymore.
Well, long distance.
I never could.
Those guys are running like 5 or 4 minute miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're running really fast for a really long time.
Yeah, that's trouble too.
This isn't a casual job.
I've aged out of this conversation.
This kid at Fremont, I watched.
I've aged out of a lot of
You
conversations.
do pole
by the
vaults.
way.
I can see that.
This
Oh,
Juan Gonzalez at Fremont, he runs nearly a 4 minute mile. He's like right on. I mean, I think he's the fastest time ever.
That's so fast.
You're
I mean, to
sprinting.
even get in that territory.
I mean, he's sprinting.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
He's running faster than that.
Some
than-
guys
than
are-
most guys can sprint.
They're blessed with like big strides, so they cover a lot of ground. But even then, like they're just hoofing.
Yep.
I can't do it.
There was that kid last year from Hardington, and he ended up going to South Dakota State. Farm kid, went to Hardington Cedar Catholic, I believe, and he broke all these records. And he went out to a race in like Irvine, California, like the best cross country meet in the country for high school kids, and he smoked the field.
Really?
And just for some, as he's one of the best distance runners in Nebraska high school. He's at South Dakota State now. And I think he's doing pretty well there. But yeah, you're just gifted. I mean, to run like that, at
Mhm.
that speed,
Oh,
you could train every day and not get there.
right.
Nope.